Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on self-determination theory. It is a theory of motivation that emphasizes autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So it is a theory of motivation that focuses on autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Self-determination theory of motivation. So this theory suggests that people are motivated by a need to grow and gain fulfillment within their own lives. Self-determination theory of motivation. Introduction. Self-determination theory is one of the most influential theories of human motivation, developed by psychologists Edward L. Deci and Richard M. Ryan in the 1980s. This theory focuses on the quality of motivation, not just how much motivation a person has, but what kind of motivation drives their behavior. The proper definition of motivation is that it is the psychological and internal energy that compels a person to pursue goals, to pursue his own goals or pursue organizational goals. So actually motivation is the driving force behind human actions. So according to self-determination theory, people are naturally inclined to grow. Inclined means they are ready to accept challenges. So according to self-determination theory, people are naturally ready to accept challenges, to grow, learn and improve when their basic psychological needs are fulfilled. Fulfilled means satisfied. So, according to self-determination theory, people are naturally inclined to grow, learn, and improve when their basic psychological needs are fulfilled and satisfied. So, autonomy, competence, and the three core concepts of this theory. First is autonomy, second is competence, and third is relatedness. When these three needs are satisfied, individuals experience high quality of motivation, well-being, and performance. Self-determination theory of motivation. So SDT stands for self-determination theory. So self-determination theory is a broad framework for understanding human motivation, personality development, and well-being. So it was developed by psychologists Edward L. Deci and Richard M. Ryan in 1980s. So this theory focuses on the degree to which human behavior is self-motivated and self-determined. So this theory focuses on the degree, on the level to which human behavior is self-motivated and self-determined. So it emphasizing the role of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in influencing how people act. So I will explain intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation in detail in the later slides. So self-determination theory of motivation. So unlike traditional motivation theories that focuses solely on external rewards or punishment, SDT means self-determination theory highlights the importance of autonomy, competence and relatedness, three fundamental psychological needs that when satisfied or when fulfilled, it will lead to optimal motivation and personal growth. So autonomy, first psychological need is autonomy, second is competence, and third is relatedness. So self-determination theory in management. In the context of management, self-determination theory provides valuable insight into how organization can create environment that enhance employee motivation, that enhancement that improve employee motivation and improve employee performance and satisfaction. So it moves beyond traditional extrinsic rewards to focus on intrinsic motivation and psychological needs. Core assumptions of self-determination theory. First is humans are inherently proactive and growth-oriented, means people have an innate tendency to learn. Innate tendency means inherited tendency or by birth tendency. So people have an by birth tendency to learn, to explain and master challenges. Master challenges mean accept challenges and become skillful in a specific field. So people have an innate tendency to learn, to explore and master challenges when conditions support their psychological needs. So what are the psychological needs that I have described earlier? That first is autonomy, second is competence, and third is relatedness. Second is motivation exists along a continuum. Continuum means continuity, consistency, and no stoppage, no hindrance. So self-determination theory proposes that motivation ranges from a motivation means lack of intent, lack of intention. So self-determination theory proposes that motivation ranges from a motivation to intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means acting for inherent satisfaction. So this theory proposes that motivation ranges from a motivation to intrinsic motivation. And third is social environments play a crucial role. So the way people are treated by managers, teachers, or peers. Peers mean colleagues. So can either support him or devote. Devote mean to make unsuccessful. So the way people are treated, the way managers are treated, the way teachers are treated to individual, the way colleagues are the way the colleagues are treated to an individual. So these people can either support any individuals or devote individual. Devote mean or make him unsuccessful to the individual. So these people can either support their natural tendency toward self-determination. So these people might support his natural tendency towards self-determination, or these people can either make him unsuccessful toward his natural tendency, make him unsuccessful in his natural tendency towards self-determination. So social environments play a crucial role. Core principles of self-determination theory. Self-determination theory proceeds mean assumes. So self-determination theory assumes that all individuals have three basic psychological needs that must be satisfied to foster intrinsic motivation and optimal functioning. So foster means promote. So self-determination theory assumes that all individuals have three basic psychological needs that must be satisfied to promote intrinsic motivation and optimal functioning. So first is autonomy. Definition is the need to feel that one's actions are self-endorsed and volitional, not externally controlled. Self-endorsed means self-confirmed, and self-certified means one person is explaining that in order to achieve this target, I have used all of my skills and put a lot of effort, work hard, dedication and commitment to achieve this goal. So a person is elaborating everything that in order to achieve this target, I have put my lot of effort. And volitional means one is doing his job in his own will. One is doing his job in his own willingness. So the need to feel that one's actions are self-endorsed and volitional, not externally controlled. So in management, employees feel autonomous. Autonomous mean employee feel power. Employee feel power and freedom. Autonomous mean power and freedom. So employees feel autonomous when they have the freedom to make choices, to express ideas, and to make decisions that how to perform their task. So they are free to make decisions how to perform their task. So three basic psychological needs. So self-determination theory proposes that motivation and psychological well-being depends on fulfilling three universal needs. So first is autonomy. So need is to feel in control of one's own behavior and choices, meaning people must feel that they are acting out of their own will, not being forced. Example is allowing students to choose their own project topic that increases their engagement in this project. So employees perform better when they can decide how to accomplish their task, how to complete their task. So competence, so definition is the need to feel effective and capable of achieving desired outcome. In management, providing regular feedback. Regular feedback mean evaluating the performance of an employee by top level management and making suggestions and recommendations for improvement. So providing regular feedback, skill development opportunities, and achievable challenges help employees feel competent. So example is training programs and recognition system that reward mastery contribute to this need, that reward a high level contribution to this need. So three basic psychological needs. So self-determination theory proposes that motivation and psychological well-being depends on fulfilling three universal basic needs. Three universal needs. So competent, so need to feel effective and capable of achieving desired outcome. People need to feel that their actions lead to success or mastery. Mastery means skillful in a specific field. So example is a video game that gradually increasing difficulty level gives player a sense of mastery. So providing a constructive feedback to employees help them to feel skilled and motivated. So motivation and psychological well-being depends on fulfilling three universal needs. The third is relatedness. So need is to feel connected and valued by other. Humans are social beings humans are social beings who seek belonging, who seek trust and emotional supports from others. Example is team members work harder when they feel respected and appreciated by team members and the top level management. Core assumption of self-determination theory that humans have an innate tendency toward personal growth. People naturally want to learn new skills and take on challenges and accept challenges and become better. So motivation exists on a continuum. Continuum mean continuity, consistency, no stoppage, no hindrance. So motivation exists on a continuum, a motivated and intrinsically motivated. So the social environment can either support individual actions and individual work, or can either hinder this motivation and can either try to make him unsuccessful. So external rewards, punishments, or pressure can sometimes reduce internal motivation if they undermine autonomy. If they avoid autonomy and if they try to eliminate the autonomy in try to eliminate the individual's autonomy. So types of motivation in self-determination theory. First is intrinsic motivation and second is extrinsic motivation. In extrinsic motivation, there are four types of extrinsic motivation. First is external regulation, second is introjected regulation, third is identified regulation, and fourth is integrated regulation. So intrinsic motivation definition is doing something for its own sake because it is interesting, enjoyable or satisfying. Examples are student studies biology because he loves understanding how life works. An artist paints because it brings them joy. It brings them joy and self-expression. And intrinsic motivation is considered the highest and most sustainable form of motivation because it arises from within. Sustainable means that remains for a long time. So intrinsic motivation is considered the highest and most sustainable form of motivation because it arises from within a person, from within the internal feeling of the person. Extrinsic motivation. So definition is doing something to gain an external reward or avoid punishment. The first type of extrinsic motivation is external regulation. So in external regulation, behavior is driven by external reward or punishment. For example, a student studies only to get good grades or avoid parent scolding. So the student studies only to get good grades. So look in the picture that A plus grade. So student studies only to get A plus grade. So that's why the student motive is just to get a recognition in his class, to get a appreciation in the class. So the student studies only to get A grade or avoid parental scolding. Introjected regulation. This motivation is partly internal but still controlled by guilt or ego. For example, a person exercises to avoid feeling guilty or to look good to other or look good to other. Mean a person exercise to avoid feeling guilty to himself. That because if a person has a fatty person or has obesity in his belly, so he thinks that he is overweight, then a person exercises to satisfy himself and avoid feeling guilty in himself. So also a person exercises to satisfy himself that he is overweight and he try to lose some weight, or a person do exercises to look good to other. When or in other case, a person exercise not for losing his weight, just to show the people that he is looking smart, and in this way he maintains his ego. So it is the example of introjected regulation. Identified regulation. The person sees the value of the activity and identifies with its importance. For example, a student studies hard because he believes that education is crucial for his future. So the student sees the value of the education and identifies with its importance, that how education is crucial for his future, how education is crucial for his personal growth, how education is crucial for his personal development, how education is crucial for social recognition, how education is crucial for his social status in the society, how education is crucial for getting knowledge, for getting skills, for getting experience, for getting specialization in a specific field, and how education is crucial for making its own business. So a student study hard because he believes that education is crucial for its future. Integrated regulation. The activity aligns with the person's values and sense of self. It's fully internalized but still instrumental. So the example is, our teacher prepares lesson carefully because it matches their identity as a dedicated educator. So the activity aligns with the person's values and sense of self fulfillment, that it is fully internalized and still instrumental. Mean the teacher prepare his lesson carefully because he has to deliver lecture to the students, so it matches its teacher identity as a dedicated educator. So it is the integrated regulations because teacher prepare lesson because he has to deliver lectures. So it is that his lecture is integrated with his preparation of the lesson. A motivation. A motivation means lack of intention or motivation to act. So lack of motivation means lack of intention or no motivation to act. So for example is the person does not see value, does not feel competent, or feel their actions don't make a difference. For example, a worker stopped trying because he feels that promotion are given unfairly, because he feels that promotion are given to those employees who are closely relative to the top level management. For example, one person in the top level management is a very close relative to the non-managerial staff or the lower managerial staff. Then the worker think that promotion will be given to his dead colleague whose relative is working in the top level management. So it might be possible the person stopped trying because he feels that promotions are given unfairly. So there is a comparison table of different types of motivation. First is A motivation. Description means no intention or reason to act. An example is I don't see the point in doing so. For example, in my previous slide, the worker don't want to work hard because there is no point in doing work hard because he thinks that promotions are given are given unfairly in this organization. So in this way, the level of self-determination is none, no level of self-determination. And in external regulation, description is acting for rewards or to avoid punishment. So example is students study to get good grades. In this way, the level of self-determination is low because student is only work hard to get good grades, and there is no internal desire for students to enjoy his studies. No, the student is acting only for rewards and are to avoid punishment from his parents. And the other is introjected regulation. In this case, the person acting to avoid guilt or boost ego. For example, is for person is I would believe I person think that I would feel bad if I did not exercise. So person think that I would look bad, I would feel bad that if I did not exercise. So he is doing exercise for looking good to others. So in this way, the level of so the person is doing exercise for looking good to others or to avoid guilt, means he is doing exercise just to maintain his physique. So in this way, the level of self-determination is moderately low. And the other is identified regulation. In this case, recognizing personal importance of behavior. For example, I exercise because it's healthy. I exercise because it's healthy. It's good for my health, and it's good for me to maintain my physiques, maintains my muscles, and maintains my body structure. So in this way, the level of self-determination is moderately high. And the other is integrated regulation. So in integrated regulation, behavior align with core values and identity. So example is being fit is part of who I am. So in this way, being fit is part of my life. I want to stay fit for a longer time. I want to live for a longer time because I want to enjoy my life. So in this way, the level of self-determination is high. And the last is intrinsic motivation. So in intrinsic motivation, doing an activity for inherent enjoyment. Example is I learn because I love learning. I learn because I am eager to learn. So in this way, the level of self-determination is very high. Applications of self-determination theory in education. For example, in education, giving students autonomy, giving students freedom, giving students power to make choices, to make choose the assignment which think that he can prepare that assignment in a very effective and efficient way. So giving students autonomy in choosing the assignments, and building competence through clear feedback and achievable goals. So feedback mean evaluating the performance of the employees by top level management, and give a suggestion and recommendation for improvement. So and giving them achievable goals, the goals which can achieved by individual with respect to their skills, knowledge, and expertise. So building competence through clear feedbacks and achievable goals. And the third is promoting relatedness, a caring classroom atmosphere. So, so if a student thinks that his class fellows, his classmates are friends to him, and they cooperate to him at every time, and they are available to him every time, and they are they are making they cooperate and collaborate to him in making projects and assignments, in making group assignments and group projects. So there is so the student feels self-determination in himself, that everyone cares for him. So promoting relatedness means a caring classroom atmosphere. So example is, a student learn more deeply when they study topics they are curious about rather than memorizing for grades. Means student learn more deeply if when they study topics they are curious about, means means they have developed interest in it, they have boost interest in it, then they study that topic in a more interesting way, and in a understanding way, rather than to memorize the topic for achieving the grades. So example is, students learn more deeply when they study topics they are curious about rather than memorizing for grades. Applications of self-determination theory in the workplace. So managers can increase employee motivations, manager can develop employee motivation, managers can boost up employee motivation by offering skills programs, by offering development opportunity programs to build the competencies of the employees, and the and encouraging teamwork for recognition to strengthen relatedness, and manager must encouraging the teamwork and recognize them by giving them the award, of the month, by giving them the employee of the month. So encouraging teamwork and recognition to strengthen relatedness, to strengthen men, to increase their relatedness with the company. Example is Google's 20% time policy lets employees spend part of their time on project of their own choice. For example, Google allow the employees to spend 20% time on on their project of on their own choice. So this led to innovation like Gmail. So Gmail is introduced by introducing this policy. So example is Google's 20% time policy lets employees spend part of their time on projects of their own choice. This led to innovations like Gmail. Self-applications of self-determination theory in sports. Coaches who sports autonomy, competence, and team spirit promote greater enjoyment and persistence. Persistence means there is a consistency in the performance of the athletes. So coaches who sport athletes autonomy, who sports athletes competence, and who sports athletes team spirit, then in this case they promote greater enjoyment and persistence for athletes. In this way, the athletes enjoy their activity, enjoy their sports, and they want to enjoy these activities persistently. Persistently means they want to enjoy their enjoyment stay long. It's mean consistency in their enjoyment, and consistencies in their consistency in their performance as well, because they think that coaches are always sport in their autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So example is, a coach who involves player in goal setting create more self-determined athletes. So example is, a coach who involves player in goal settings, mean who is involved in the personal who involved with the athletes internal desires. So means a coach asks the athlete what position you want to play. Are you want to play as a center forward? Are you play as a right center forward or left center forward? Are you want to play as a goalkeeper? Are you want to play as a defender? So in this way, when the coach involves players in his goal setting, that it will create a more self-determined athletes. So fourth is in health and well-being. So people who feel self-determined in health behavior like diet or exercise maintain habits longer. So people who feel self-determined in health behavior like their diet plans or exercises schedule, then it will maintain their habits longer. For example, someone who chooses to eat healthy food because he value well-being is more consistent than someone who does it to impress others. So someone who chooses to eat healthy foods because he thinks that the healthy food creates a value in his personal development and growth, and his and healthy food becomes a more productive and more creative for its health, and more and in this, and by taking the healthy food, he is feeling more energetic. So so someone who chooses to eat healthy food because he value well-being is more consistent, well-being is more important than someone who does it to impress other, or as compared to someone who does take healthy food to impress others, that how I am taking that I am taking healthy food to become an actor in the film industry, and to become or to become the or to become a stage dancer. So so there is a different criteria. Someone who chooses to eat healthy food because he give value, because he thinks that it creates value for its well-being, and it is more consistent and more important as compared to someone who does it to impress others, for example the stage dancers and the movie actors. The strength of self-determination theory, that the first is that it emphasizes quality of motivation, not just quantity, and this theory is supported by extensive research across cultures and fields, and this theory promotes psychological well-being, not just performance, and this theory provides clear guidance for designing motivational environment. And limitation of self-determination theory, first is that it is hard to measure autonomy, it is hard to measure competence, and it is hard to measure relatedness precisely and correctly. And second is this theory may not fully account for cultural differences, e.g. collectivist culture may value relatedness more. Collectivist cultures means, in collectivist cultures people give more people give more value, or people give preference to the group value and group harmony as compared to their individual preferences. So this theory may not fully account for cultural differences, e.g. collectivist cultures may value relatedness more. And sometimes and the third is that uh, in this theory sometimes it is difficult to balance autonomy and organizational control in real world settings. And the conclusion is the self-determination theory of motivation emphasizes that the most effective and enduring motivation comes from within one's feeling. So when environment support a person's need for autonomy, when a environment supports a person need for competence, and when environment support a person needs for relatedness, then the individual become more self-motivated and more productive and more satisfied, whether in education, whether in work, whether in sports, and whether in personal lives. Self-determination theory reminds us that true motivations derives when people feel free, when people feel that he is capable, and when people feel that he is connected to the society, and he is connected to the people. So whether in education, whether in work, whether in sports, or whether in personal lives, the self-determination theory reminds us that true motivations comes when people feel free, capable, and connected. So it's all about my lecture. If you have any question, then make a comment in the comment box. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching my video.